Alright, so we discussed two different types of variables. We talked about a quantitative variable and we talked about a categorical variable. Right now we're just going to focus on categorical variables. So the first thing we want to do is just remind ourselves of what a categorical variable is. So it's just a variable whose responses consist of categories. We also thought of this as being qualitative in nature. Right, so it could still be numbers, but they were numbers that told us something different. Like we talked about, area code, for example, tells us geographic location. So it technically was a categorical variable. Other things, of course, that fall into here would be gender or your major. So all of those are examples of categorical variables. So what we're going to do next is talk about how we descriptively look at a categorical variable, and we're going to do this both graphically and numerically. So the data that we're going to work with is looking at party affiliation. So we're going to talk about the two different kinds of common graphs that we use for categorical data. And these are our pie graphs and bar plots. So what you should have in the handout is a couple of pictures of these, and we're going to show you how to do this in StatCrunch as well. So there's some StatCrunch directions here. And then when I create them in StatCrunch, you'll be able to see my numbers a little bit better here on the side. So I'm going to go to my StatCrunch account and get signed in. And then when I have a data set, I usually just have it saved on my computer somewhere, so I'm going to select a file on my computer, and then I just search to see where I saved my data set here. And then it's nice, we'll show you a little picture of what it's going to look like coming in, so I can make sure it looks right. I can add some descriptions and stuff to it, but I'm just going to scroll down here. Just click on the load file. So now StatCrunch will open with me having my data set loaded in here. So I've done the first step here, just loading my data. And then I'm just going to go to graph or graphics and either choose bar plot or pie chart, just depending upon the one that I want. I'm just going to go to graph, and as you can see, the top two are our bar plot and pie chart. What I have here is the actual data set, so I'm just going to choose the with data option. Click the variable I want it for, so I'm just going to look at the party. I can put a title on this if I want, so I can just say party affiliation and hit compute and get my pie chart. And so what I see here is I see my different pieces. I see them labeled here over on the side, and I'm given two different numbers. The first one is the count, it's like the number of Democrats. If I went through my data set and kind of counted how many of them say Democrat, it would say 64, 12 independents, and then 41 Republicans. Then it also gives me percentages, right? And our percentages, always make sure we add up to 100% here. So that's 54.7% of them were Democrats, 10.26% of them were independent, and 35.04% were Republicans. So I just get a nice plot of what's going on. Now you saw when I went to this menu there was an option of with summary. What a summary would look like instead, so let me just open a new StatCrunch. What if I wouldn't actually have every individual record? I would just have the parties, and I would have Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. And then I would just have the count of each of those. I wouldn't actually have all my individual values. I would just have had that there were 64 Democrats, that there were 12 independents, and that there were 41 Republicans. And then when I just choose my graph option, I would choose the with summary option instead, which looks a little bit different. So my categories are going to be in this party column. My counts are in what I've labeled count. And then I hit compute, and we get the exact same graph. So just how do you have it? Do you have just the summary information, or do you actually have every single individual data record that you're looking at there? Do the same thing with a bar plot. You actually see that you have two different ones here, which look very similar, so we'll talk about the differences between those. I'm just going to go to bar plot, and again, because I have the actual data, I'm going to choose the data option, click my party, and then if I just hit straight compute, it gives me frequency, which is the count. So if I compare that to what I had in my pie chart, there's 64 Democrats, 12 independents, and 41 Republicans. So it just gives me the count. If I go back and edit it, I can actually have them put that number above the bar for me too, so I can see that exact number. So this gives you the count. You can change this to be different things by this type option. So you could do relative frequency, which is what I had in the handout. And I'm going to keep the value above the bar here to be helpful. So what you'll see is basically the decimal form of those percentages that we had. You could also make them percentages if you preferred. So it actually would just give you the percent instead. Now, why would you use one graph over the other? So we get kind of both of them here, so we can talk about it. So, generally speaking, you can probably use either graph when you have a more substantial difference in sizes. A pie chart's pretty good, but if you start having just a smaller difference, you might not be able to visually see it on a pie chart. Sometimes it's nice to have the bars so you can see that maybe one just a little bit smaller. It's a little bit easier to see smaller differences in a bar plot, but you can do either of those. So that's graphical displays that we look at for categorical data. Let's also talk about numerical displays, and we've actually already seen a couple of these already. We usually do the counts, like what we saw with the 64, the 12, and the 41. Or we do the percentages just as we saw there as well. So a quick reminder, how can I use the count to get the percentage? Well, 64 Democrats, 12 independents, 41 Republicans. If I add up those three numbers, I get 117. So if I take 64 divided by 117, that's where I'm going to get 0.547, or making it into a percentage would be that 54.7%. Alright, so it just kind of takes the count out of that total sample size that we have there. So let's actually interpret this pie chart we have here, and see if it makes sense. So we can do both counts or percentages. I'll do both here. So I can say of our 117 sample, and I again just kind of added up those counts to know it was 117. 64 or 54.7% were Democrats. Twelve, or what would be 10.26%, were independents. And 41, or what was 35.04%, were Republicans. For most people I think like percentages better because it's always out of 100%. Because if you just give the counts, they're going to kind of do that division themselves, which is 64 divided by 117 to get that 54.7%. I also gave the pie chart here for gender. If you'll actually notice here in our data set, they did actually report gender as well. So I just got a pie chart of gender instead. So I can see about 43.5% were female, and the other 56.5% were male. So I get those numbers as well. So we're going to take this and actually use a full example that goes back and remember some of the terms that we've already learned. So we are interested in looking at the party affiliation of people in northern Kentucky due to our upcoming May election. So in order to do this, they sent a survey to 117 registered voters in northern Kentucky in April of 2017 and asked for their party affiliation and their gender. So going through some old stuff here first. Our goal first is the why. Why am I going out to collect data? So my goal was to determine party affiliation. In northern Kentucky for the upcoming election. That's just what I want to know. Now, why would that be important? A lot of people vote their party, so it's sometimes nice just to know what the percent breakdown of the parties are in a certain area. Who is our population? So who's our group of people here that we are interested in studying? Well, we're looking at all, right, because it's a population, registered voters. You have to be registered to have a party in northern Kentucky, right? I don't care about any other region. Versus what was my sample? Well, I sampled 117 registered voters in northern Kentucky. So if you look at that, it hopefully looks like our sample should represent our population. Right, we're interested in all registered voters in northern Kentucky, and we're sampling registered voters in northern Kentucky. That seems good. What are my variables? So what information am I recording on an individual here? Well, I want to know their party affiliation, which is categorical. I also wanted to know their gender, which is also categorical. So those are the three things that we always have to know. Why we're collecting the data, who we're collecting the data on, and what data do we need to collect on them. If we know it, we'd like to know a little bit about when and where. So I don't know a ton. I know it was in April of 2017. And I know it was in northern Kentucky. That's pretty much all I know. Now we're just going to do a quick summary of our data. And of course, when I say quick, and your definition of quick may be a little bit different, but I'm really just going to summarize my two pie charts that we had. So for the first one, it's going to look a lot like what I already interpreted here, with a little bit more being specific about who my sample is as well. So I'm just going to start of our 117 registered voters in northern Kentucky. We found that 54.7% were Democrats. 10.26% were independents. And 35.04% were Republicans. In addition, we'll talk about gender here. We found that 43 0.59% were female, while the rest, or 56.41%, were male. So I know who my sample is, I know what information, I know the percent breakdown of each of my variables. That's what we're looking for when we look for just kind of summarizing what's going on with a categorical variable.